So today we'll discuss a law that says the law of exponent, which is a is raised to power m. This simply means a is multiplied to itself m number of times. Got it? So it is a multiplied by a multiplied by a and so on. And this carries out, this multiplication continues for m number of times. For example, if we have a raised to power 3, same as a multiplied to itself 3 times. The magnitude is given by doing actual multiplication and the answer will be here. So in the example 2 raised to 3 is 2 multiplied to itself 3 times. It is not 2 multiplied by 3, it is 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, which gives us 2 times 2 is 4 times 2, that gives us, so the magnitude of this is read as 2 cubed. A third power is named as cubed. Second power is named as squared. So if we have, for example, 3 raised to 2 is 3 squared, which is 3 multiplied by 3 gives us a 9. So in today's video, we are going to discuss the law of exponent that reads a raised to m multiplied by a raised to n is same as a raised to plus n. Okay, now here this law has identical bases and in this their powers get added. So now let us take an example of a raised to 3 is multiplied by a raised to 2. Here we can express it as a times a times a is multiplied by a times a. This simply means a is multiplied to itself 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 times. So this is same as a raised to 5, which in terms of 3 and 2 we can write it as a raised to 3 plus 2, which is a raised to 5. So when bases are same, powers get added if exponents are in multiplication. We'll discuss the law of exponent, which says a raised to m when divided by a raised to n, we get raised to m minus n. This also is equal to 1 upon a raised to n minus m. So subtraction of power will take place when two exponents are in division. Here the subtraction of power takes place where the greater power is. So if m is greater than n, here if m is greater than n, then the subtraction of powers takes place in the numerator. And if n is greater than m, then subtraction of power takes place in the denominator. Let us take an example. A raised to 6 is divided by a raised to 5. We can write this as a multiplied to itself 6 number of times, multiplied by a, multiplied by a, multiplied by a, multiplied by a times a. It's divided by a raised to 5, which means a multiplied to itself 5 times. Now here we know one rule that we can cancel common numerators and denominators that appear once. This gives us an answer of a, which means a raised to 1. In terms of 5 and 6, we can write this as a raised to 6 minus 5, which gives us a raised to 1. In today's video, we will discuss when exponent, the power rule, which is when an exponent is raised to certain power. Here, it is certain base is raised to certain power and this whole exponent is again raised to power, then the base remains the same but their powers get multiplied. So for example, if we have a raised to 3 and this whole exponent is raised to power 2. Now if we say, we can rewrite this a cubed as a multiplied to itself 3 times and the whole exponent is raised to power 2. What we have done? A cubed, we have written it as a times a times a. Now this can also be rewritten as a into a into a multiplied to itself twice because it is a square. So when a power is raised twice, we multiply the exponent 2 times. If we see this, we can say that it is a multiplied to a multiplied to a multiplied to a to a and to a. This is same as a multiplied to itself 6 number of times. Now by rule of exponents, when a number or a base is multiplied to itself m number of times, then its power is raised to that m. Here a is multiplied to itself 6 times, so this can be written as a raised to 6. Now in terms of 2 and 3, we can write this as a raised to power 3 times 2. So when a power is raised to certain power, we can say that a raised to power m whole raised to power n can be rewritten as a raised to m times n. Today we will discuss the product whose power is raised by certain value. This can also be written as a raised to m multiplied by b raised to m. So if two numbers are in product and the whole product is raised to certain power m, it can be written as a raised to m multiplied by b raised to n. For example, if we say 2 times 5 is raised to power 2. In simple terms, it is 10 raised to 2, which gives us the answer 100. Now let us verify this rule. Here, multiplied by 5 is multiplied to itself twice because the power is raised to 2. 2 times 5 is 10, times 2 is 20, times 5 is 100. In terms of exponents, we can write this as 2 raised to 2 times 5 raised to 2. So, when product is raised to certain power m, we can rewrite it as the exponent of individual terms that are there in multiplication. In today's video, we will discuss when a base is raised to a power 0, then its value is 1. So let us consider an example. A is raised to power 3 is divided by a raised to power 3. So this gives us a multiplied to itself 3 times is divided by a multiplied to itself 3 times. Now reducing to lowest form, we get the answer 1. Now here, if we apply the division law of powers, we have a raised to 3 upon a raised to 3 can also be written as a raised to 3 minus 3. This gives us a raised to 0. But a raised to 3 and a raised to 3 are identical terms in the fraction. So when we reduce them to lowest form, we get the answer 1. And therefore, when a base is raised to power 0, the answer is always 1.